And when they violate those, in those days, I went up to the extent of even arresting Youssou Ndour on 2 occasions.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because Hadifai, my good names are Sheikh Omar Jallow, and then I'm commonly called SOJ.
SOJ.
Yes.
SOJ, you play a key role because you were making some very important interjections today in the music gam. But you are not just anybody. I think you need to give us some idea. SOJ also, who is SOJ, please, before we go into the conversation.
Okay. Yeah, SOJ, I am the 3 years illegally indefinite suspended director of literature, performing and fine arts at the National Center for Arts and Culture. And then today I am here particularly as a private individual or consultant who just came in to interact about the industry, because I had left it very sound, and then I had done some very good footings when I was leaving 3 years ago. So it's after 3 years. So I am just beginning now to take interest, because I went underground and I'm resurfacing again. Because it's exactly last 2 days ago when I had been off the market or the forefront for the last 3 years. So I'm just resurfacing. So I came today to acquaint myself with what is happening, and then to brief of course, some of the information that I felt pertinent to make sure I can give information.
Music gam, right? They have this 10-point agenda plan.
Yes.
Action points which they have been trying to get the NCAC, the Ministry of Tourism, and also the National Assembly Select Committee on Arts and Culture. One of them is about making sure that Gambian music is played more in the tourism sector and also on the radios and TVs. You had some recommendation. You know what the situation is. You were talking about even some non-Gambian artists when they come in, some of the actions that you used to take. I think this is very important, because without some of this action that you were mentioning, and this money is also going back to the artists, our local artists, then what's the point? Please, give us an insight in this sector, the actions you were taking, the challenges that are faced in this sector, sir.
I think that's one of the most interesting part or questioning that they have been elaborating on, and that is the requirements for playing 70% of Gambian airwaves or broadcast should be Gambian music. It's a law. It's already there. It's being passed in Parliament through the copyright law. It's there. And it's just a question of implementation. And the implementation, the mandate was not given to NCAC to implement it. I think the framework was very left scanty. Who is to implement that? But of course, we would hold responsible government to do it, because you cannot have an association or a group of union to be going into the radio stations, TV station, and telling them you need to play. That's not the law. The law doesn't empower them about that. It was very silent. Who is to implement that law? And obviously, we just have to take it that it should be NCAC. Of course, government through NCAC should make sure they do that. During my time, we started it and writing to institutions, like most of the radio stations, especially the newly formed then Bakurin Society, which is the Broadcasters Association. And we were getting footage, but unfortunately, it did not cement before I leave. So I know since then, nothing has been done, because my office has been left over for 3 years, close. They did not appoint anything, and they did not leave me to go. So it has just been vacant, just like that, because they could not leave me to go, and they could not get me back, because there was issues. So being that the case, I cannot say much on that again, because I don't know what has been done, and I am quite sure from the reports I understand here today, nothing is being done.
Okay.
So that's one part. Then the other portion is another law which has been implemented. That's not the music union. That is, the NCAC has an act called the Non-Resident Performance Licensing Fee. That is an act of parliament. It's parliament who delegated NCAC to collect non-resident permits to issue that. So
That's
I had
artists
a law
coming from outside from the country.
anybody performing. In fact, even Gambians that are not resident in the Gambia here and then they are coming to perform here, I charge them.
Okay.
The law says they should be charged and they will be charged. So they normally pay. And of course, NCAC, of course, receives a lot of reasonable amount of money in it. And then, of course, with the two previous executives of the music union, I had a lot of fight with them about that because they will say, no, it should be also rejabbed into the music union.
And that's what these people here were complaining, that they are not seeing that money.
No, that money is not theirs.
Okay.
It's NCAC's because government made a regulation and it was being targeted for revenue for NCAC. So that revenue goes into NCAC. And they should not also leave it apart. That is, of course, all the support that NCAC give them. I know when I was there, we used to support every act that they do. Even their congress, I used to fund through the NCAC. Okay? And all the things that they would do, they will request for. Some of them, their travels. There is a lot of support that we will give. And mostly it comes from, that chunk of those money come from, of course, the support that NCAC. But they are claiming that they should have a certain percentage, and like that's what I said, that should be a regulation.
Okay.
They need to go to parliament or they need to go and engage and then get a regulation that indicates that. Okay. So that they can even own a percentage and they can take that because it's their bona fide right. They should have a portion of that money. Or they should charge the non-resident artists. Because the Senegalese music industry don't play with the 12.5%. Every Gambian musician playing in Senegal knows about that. You don't play with that. You will see the next minute. At the middle of your stage, you will see Droit de Tour and then other agencies will come in. 12.5%. You will have to put it up there and you don't play with that. So I don't play with those. And when they violate those, in those days, I went up to the extent of even arresting Youssou Ndour on 2 occasions.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because Hadi Faye brought Youssou Ndour and paid 1 license. Africell appointed Youssou Ndour and then they were doing a show at traffic light. It wasn't paid for. The same thing happens. TAF was doing TAF something and then they brought Youssou Ndour. It was not part of their program. But when Youssou came in, they contracted him and they did not pay for him. I interrupted. They are also, but in the end, they all came to understand and then they came to pay. And then some of these things will happen. I did it to Ida Samba.
Do you think, could that be one of the reasons why maybe you are being taken out of the picture?
No, because this is very in between, personal between me and the minister.
Okay.
And of course, the director general, which is actually in between. That's not maybe the case.
Okay.
Because this happened and they understand. Because one of this even happened even in the time of Yaya Jammeh, who supported me very well. Because even Yaya Jammeh, when he's bringing most of these artists here, he would call my attention, like he would call our attention and inform us. He paid for Morgan Heritage. He paid for most of those people. He would pay the non-resident licensing
for them. Okay.
He will make sure that it's paid.
Okay.
So those were things that were not compromised because it's a law.
Okay.
And then I think as of now, I don't know how much revenue NCAC is making out of it, but I know the music union cannot go after NCAC for that. If they want that, as I have always been saying, I still want to emphasize is they need to go and do the right procedure and get it enacted in parliament.
Okay.
Or through the National Assembly. They lobby through them and then it's being enacted as a law or as a regulation, then they can use it.